This is Inside Badger Football with head coach Trey Shucker. Financial support for Inside Badger Football comes from Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments. The accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler. Welch Funeral Home. Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. Southern Bancorp. Chad Kesterson with Shelter Insurance. Southwest Sporting Goods. Taylor King and Associates. Mary and Martha's Florists and Gifts. Price and Company. Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker. Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone. EasyBins.com. And Farm Bureau Insurance of Clark County. The host of Inside Badger Football is Preston Crowder.
Hey there, Arkadelphia fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Badger Football. I'm Chase Hartzell, filling in for Preston Crowder this week, and as always, I am joined by Coach Trey Shucker. Coach Shucker, it's a pleasure to have you back in the studio with us.
It's great to be back.
Now, I'm sure you'd agree with me on this, but it is just great to be back talking about some Arkadelphia football again.
It is. It feels like it's been forever, and it really has been. You know, it's been over a month since we've been able to play on a Friday night, and, we were just so excited to get back on the field and play, especially in front of our home crowd.
Right. And really that 3-week or so hiatus, it was really unprecedented. You know, how do you as a coach, and as well as motivating your players, how do you all stay motivated over the course of that break?
We just kind of talked to our players, just kind of reiterated to them, football season's not over. We're right in the middle of football season. At that point, we hadn't started conference play. We were supposed to and wasn't able to, but we just kind of let them know, hey, we're going to be back and we're going to be able to play football, so we've got to stay locked in and kind of know our responsibility and what we've got to do. So we held Zoom meetings and kind of stayed in touch with them every day during the quarantine period.
And once you finally got back to practice and finally got to have that game this past Friday night, what was that like to be back in front of the Badger faithful at All Care Field?
It was awesome. It was almost like a first game again, just because it was so long, and our kids were fired up and keyed up to play.
Yep. And we'll take a look at that matchup here in just a minute, the Harmony Grove game. But before we get into that, let's take a look back at the preparation that went into last week's game. So Harmony Grove runs a bit of an unusual offense, the Diamond T offense, and coming off of that break and facing an unfamiliar offense, how did you prepare for that?
Yeah, we just kind of that offense is something that you've got to kind of prepare for a little bit. It's a very physical offense. They're going to run straight at you. Early in the game, you can kind of see, the amount of time that we took off, it kind of got to us, and we were able to make some adjustments and able to slow it down a little bit better.
And I know that can also be a very time-consuming offense as well. So were there any offensive adjustments that you had to make in preparation for this matchup?
Well, going into the game, one of our game plans was we wanted to onside kick. We knew that they were going to try to hold on to the ball and run the clock. So our mindset of that was, well, let's not give them the ball back. So we onside kicked a few times in the game, trying to get the ball back, not let the offense have the football.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from last week's matchup against Harmony Grove. Starting off with some high energy from Latonio Hughes, leading out the team. And now, Coach, you just said it. We're going to see the onside kick quite a bit here throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, we didn't really place that one very well. It was the first one of the game, but you'll see it as we get going. We'll do that a few more times. Defense came out keyed up. That offense is really physical. They're coming right at you. You've got to match and exceed that intensity that they're going to bring. Just miscue right there on defense. They had a huge first drive, and we really weren't ready for it. We made adjustments as the game went on, but they're a tough football team. Those kids play really hard, and they're really tough on offense.
And there you see the missed PAT. So right out of the gate, Harmony Grove up 6-0, but that lead wouldn't last for long. As you see right here, special teams was a big part of the victory this past Friday night. And here's our first big special teams play of the night.
Yeah, so this was huge for us to kind of get the momentum back under our belt. Kalen Jones did a great job. Not necessarily the best decision that we really teach, but he's a senior. He's been on the field a lot, and he kind of knows what to do in situations. So we put a lot of trust in him. He was able to see a crease and he took it.
Right. So now Badgers leading 7-6, and again, Harmony Grove driving. Hunter Williams, the quarterback, really running the option to perfection a couple times on this drive.
Yeah, the quarterback's he runs that offense really well. They don't have the biggest offensive lineman. They come out strong. They fire off the ball.
And again, it's a very persistent offense. You're not always going to see the big hitters every single play, but just over time, slowly, methodically getting down the field.
Yeah, and early in the game, our secondary didn't really run fit very well. They weren't playing downhill. And as the game went on, we kind of made adjustments to get those guys in a better position.
Right, so as you see there was a score and then a stop there on the two-point conversion. So now it's 12-7 Harmony Grove. Harmony Grove now going to the onside kick themselves.
Yeah, we knew they were going to do that going in. So we kind of prepared for that all week as well.
Now we see the Badger offense for the first time on the field, and Jay-Sean Davis getting things started right. Big run to start off the night.
Yeah, so we knew that we had to start fast, especially, at this point in the game, it's late in the first quarter. This is our first drive of the game offensively. So we knew we had to have a big first drive to get things going for us. Braden Thomas did a really good job Friday night. Made a lot of really good reads. We were able to get him to run the ball a little bit, a few designed runs that we've not done in previous weeks, and he really played well.
And right here, the PAT is blocked by Harmony Grove, so the lead would hold at 13-12.
Yeah, that was just a miscue up front. Offensive lineman stepped out instead of in.
Right there, we really saw the onside kick go in the Badgers' favor for the first time of the night.
Yeah, so this was huge for us to get the ball back, put our offense back on the field, and get us in a position to go score.
And this right here was a potentially big play. Braden Thomas finding his man deep downfield. Unfortunately, that would be called back due to a penalty.
Yeah, but you see Braden Thomas getting out of the pocket, using his legs to kind of extend the play and found Alex Loy in the end zone. But like you said, got called back, so we had to get into the second quarter and continue the drive, and we were able to do that.
And Jay-Sean Davis just continuing to bulldoze over the Harmony Grove defense all game long.
Yeah, he's a big, strong, physical back, and he runs the ball really well. It takes more than one person to get him on the ground.
And you saw another run right there for him that went for a touchdown. PAT is good, so it is now 20-12 Arkadelphia. We're going to see the onside again here.
Yeah, really kind of overplayed the ball right there. Eric Cervantes did a great job with his onside kicks Friday night, really putting us in a position to possibly get the ball back. Harmony Grove, they're not the biggest players on the field, but they fire off the ball and they are physical. As the game went on, I could kind of tell that our tempo on offense and our physicality on defense kind of got to them. A lot of those players go both ways, and as the game went on, they kind of wore down.
An excellent play here by Braden Thomas, shaking off the wimpy tackler and finding his man downfield for the first down.
Yeah, well, that's one of Braden Thomas's strong suits, is extending plays, being able to find the ball out in space.
And on this drive, we really saw quite a bit of the trips formation as well.
We did. We knew we could isolate the cornerback side like you see right there. Got the ball out to Alex Loy. He was able to go make a big play for us.
So now Arkadelphia up 27-12. Harmony Grove continuing to pound the ball on the ground.
Yeah, so right here you can see on this drive is our defense. We made a couple adjustments, and our defense is really, playing to the level that we expect them to play.
Yep, and a key fourth down stop there for the Badgers, and now the offense back out on the field. Braden Thomas making magic again with his legs. Huge gain there for the senior.
Yeah, we want the ball in Braden's hands. Anytime the ball's in his hands, big things can happen. as you can see right here, Braden's really settling in at the quarterback position, really understanding his reads and going through it quickly, making the right decisions.
And right there on the read option, picking up the score. Field goal makes it a 34-12 game.
Yeah. This position, you know, we feel really good about what we're doing, and we're just going to continue to do it.
And this was really the first time we saw Arkadelphia kicking the ball deep in this game.
Yeah, you know, we wanted to give them the ball a little bit deeper. We felt good about how our defense was playing at that point. Figured that we could get the ball back in a better, manageable position.
And here we saw a little bit of a different set for Harmony Grove, set a man in motion before the snap. Arkadelphia defense read it right off the bat, though, and we see actually the first punt of the night. Just a short punt to the sideline.
In the first half.
Braden Thomas getting the ball out of his hands really quick, and that's one thing that we really want to do, you know, allow him to make easy reads and get the ball out of his hands quick.
And again, we see Jay-Sean Davis setting the tone for the drive with a big run here, getting into enemy territory down near the 35.
Yeah, Jay-Sean's a really good player for us.
Right here, Badgers facing a 3rd and long, but a great pass from Thomas down the right sideline. Found his man for the Arkadelphia touchdown. With the PAT, it is a 40-12 Badger lead.
I thought our offensive line played really well Friday night as well. You know, we talk about Jay-Sean, but those offensive linemen had a really good game in the run game and the pass game. Their pass pro was really solid all night.
The O-line really gave him a lot of space to work all game long.
Yeah.
Now we see a face mask penalty. It looks like that would help the Cardinals pick up a crucial first down.
Yeah, and we did have a couple penalties, which, you know, first game back, we were pretty keyed up to play in front of a home crowd. First game back, in over a month, you know, we'd like to minimize those things you know, as we progress onto the season.
Right here, we're going to see a quarterback keeper from Williams, and he just loses the ball. Another big turnover, recovered by the Arkadelphia Badgers.
Yeah, I believe that was Landon Kewen that really forced that fumble. It was Landon's first game back. Really huge to have him back on the field.
Ball moves back now to the 19. It's 1st and 11.
Again, Thomas doing a great job of finding the open man. Finds him over the middle this time for another big gain.
Yeah, that's a really good throw by Buster. Braden really stepping into his throw, getting the ball out, being accurate.
And on this play right here, we actually saw the sweep, not something we saw too often last Friday night, but a very effective play.
Yeah, you know, the way we were looking at it, we thought that we could get to the edge and get Kyler Pfeiffer out in space, and we were able to do that.
1st and 10 for the Badgers.
Really strong run right there by Jay-Sean.
He caps off the drive with another great run. PAT extends the lead to 47-12 for Arkadelphia. Again, Badgers kicking it deep here. Really great coverage in the special teams, especially when the ball was kicked deep.
Yeah, we've got some really good players that we put on our kickoff team. They get down the field really fast and understand their role and key in the kickoff game. Really physical too. Right here, just a miscue up front, able to give them an open lane to run.
And another close call there for Harmony Grove, another fumble, but they fall on it quickly. There's a great stop there by the Badgers, backed up deep in their own territory. But ultimately the drive would culminate in a Harmony Grove score. The PAT here would make it a 47-19 ball game. But again, special teams coming through in a big way. This is Latonio Hughes here on the return.
Yeah, Latonio's a great player for us. Kickoff return is one of those deals where, if you're a really good athlete and you're a returner, you can kind of showcase how athletic you really are. Latonio is probably one of our most athletic players on our team right there. I believe he's probably the fastest player on the field right there and was able to show it.
Following the second special team score of the night, your score is Arkadelphia 54 and Harmony Grove 19. Harmony Grove puts together another solid methodical drive here, but really time is the enemy at this point in the ballgame.
Yeah, if you get behind a couple scores, it's really tough for a team like them to be able to catch back up.
Thank you on behalf of the Badgers for
like you see, they still play physical football. They're still running it right at you and they're firing off, still playing football. Really good job by them to continue to do what they do, and they're being physical with us. We were able to get some guys in on defense as well, and it was really good to get some game reps by multiple people.
Right, and it was just a great game overall for the Badgers. Your final score in that one, Arkadelphia 54, Harmony Grove 19. A lot of great performances all around, and we're going to recognize some of those right now with the Player of the Week awards presented by Blake Bell of Edward Jones. So for your Offensive Player of the Week, we have Braden Thomas. Your Defensive Player of the Week is Landon Kewen, and your Special Teams Player of the Week is Latonio Hughes. So let's start off with Braden Thomas, 14 of 17 passing, 242 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and in addition to that, 5 carries, 52 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns, all totaled 294 all-purpose yards and 4 total touchdowns. I know it's been a while, but it definitely looks like Thomas has not lost a step in leading this offense.
He's doing a great job for us. He's done a great job all year, but I think this was his best game. And, you can see him really settling into that quarterback position, understanding the offense. It's all been new to everybody, but, it takes a little bit of extra, practice time and reps at that quarterback position to be able to go through it. And he's really settling in, doing a phenomenal job for us.
And then on the defensive side of things, we have Landon Kewen as your Defensive Player of the Week. And you mentioned it earlier, making his comeback and making his presence felt right off the bat. 16 tackles in addition to a forced fumble.
Yeah, Landon Kewen is huge to have him back on the field. We're so happy to have him back. This was his first game back. He was unable to play in previous games due to he hasn't been cleared because he had an injury happen last January. And, he's just now back, and, we're so glad to have him back on the field.
And then on special teams, of course, you have Latonio Hughes, who had that final score of the game, the 69-yard touchdown return. I know he was a big factor in the special teams game, and he also made some great open field tackles on defense as well.
He did. He plays defense for us. He plays corner, and he plays really well for us. He's a sophomore. But like you said, that kickoff return was special. If you watch it again, there's multiple people that has a really good angle on him, and he's just able to outrun him. And, he's, like I said, he's probably one of our most athletic players on our football team.
And with that, now we're going to go to our presentation of the Badger Spirit Award. That is presented by Southwest Auto. And this week's winner is Kaylin Rook-Sims. So, Coach, can you tell us a little bit about why she is this week's lucky winner?
Kaylin's great to have on our football team. She's one of our managers. She does a great job, and she's always willing to help out no matter what. And, she's a big part of, one of the things this year with the COVID regulations is water, and she does a great job helping us out with that. She was on the homecoming court. Homecoming was Friday night. She was on the homecoming court, and she chose to help us out and be a manager for us on the sideline instead of sit with the court. So really happy to have her around.
And again, just a great homecoming game for the Badgers. Again, your final score in that one was 54-19 Arkadelphia. And with that win, Arkadelphia advancing to 4-0 on the year. And this is pretty unusual at this point in the season. Just 1-0 in conference play. Harmony Grove with the loss is going to fall to 0-7 and 0-4 in conference play.
Yeah, it is an unusual year. It's just what it is this year. All we can do is control what we can control. And the games that we're able to play, that's all we can focus on. We've only got 3 more conference games. And, our focus right now is win the next one.
And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other key games around the conference this past week. The first matchup we're going to look at is we're going to Joe T. Robinson. Robinson looking to bounce back after a couple of losses in a row and they were facing a Malvern team that was undefeated in conference play. Malvern missing some key players, though. The Leopards hung strong. Were down by only 1 at halftime, but ultimately the Senators pull away in this one. Your final score is Joe T. Robinson 35, Malvern 13. And then for the next matchup, we go to Ashdown, and this was the big win of the night. Ashdown pulling off the upset against the Scrappers. Your final score in that one is 26-24. With the win, Ashdown advances to 6-1 overall, 3-1 in conference play. And Nashville suffering their first loss in conference play. They're now 2-1 in conference, 4-2 overall.
Yeah, Ashdown's a tough place to play. That game was at Ashdown. Ashdown's a tough place to play, and anything can happen in this conference. It's going to be a battle every Friday night.
And of course, the Badgers have a key matchup at Ashdown coming up this week. We'll get right back to that in just a minute. Your final score from last week, Fountain Lake traveling to Bauxite. The Cobras looking for their first win in conference play. Ultimately could not get it done. This was really a defensive battle for the first half. It was 0-0 at halftime, but really the offenses broke through in the second half. The Miners end up picking up the victory 23-21 with the win. Bauxite advancing to 3-4 overall, 2-2 in conference play, while the Cobras fall to 2-3 overall, 0-3 in conference play.
Yeah, you see it across the state. I don't know if there's a team out there that's really playing with all of their starters, whether it's injuries or quarantine. So you never know who you're going to get on Fridays.
Right. And so now we take a look ahead at the week ahead. This is this week's matchups in the 7-4A. Starting off, you've got Harmony Grove traveling to Nashville. Harmony Grove looking to pick up their first win of the season, first win in conference. And of course, Nashville looking to bounce back after that loss to the Panthers last week on the road.
Yeah, that was a tough one for them. They're a really good football team still. And, Harmony Grove, they play physical football. You got to be able to match and exceed their intensity.
Right. And then we have a couple of teams that are facing each other coming off a win, looking to build off of that. You have Robinson traveling to Bauxite, and that should be an interesting matchup right there.
It is. Robinson, they went to Texas and played a really good football team, and then this past Friday night played Malvern and got back on track with that.
And then after that, you have Fountain Lake traveling to Malvern. Malvern coming back after suffering a tough loss at Joe T. Robinson, but still putting together a great season thus far.
Yeah, they really are. Malvern, we were able to watch them a couple weeks ago, and they're really coming strong.
And then, of course, you come down to the end of it, and it's the big matchup of the week, really, in the 7-4A. You have Ashdown hosting Arkadelphia.
Yeah, it's going to be a big game for us Friday night. It's going to be a battle just like it always is in the 7-4A. And, it's an exciting game, and, our kids are ready for it. And, there's a lot on this game. It's the way the conference plays. They're only taking going into playoffs. They seed it based off of conference wins. We were able to miss a couple conference games. So, every win matters. It always does. But even more so this year. And
so looking at the game at Ashdown, Ashdown is coming off of a big home win last week against Nashville. There's definitely a home field advantage for the Panthers down there. They have not lost a game yet at home in 2020, and this is really Arkadelphia's first true conference road game. They haven't played a road game since week 1. So how do you go about preparing for a game in hostile territory like that?
Yeah, it has been a long time since we've traveled. The last time that we traveled was at Camden, which was actually week 0. So it's been a long time. And Ashdown coming off a big win, they're going to be ready to go. They're going to be fired up. They're going to feel like they've got some momentum. The biggest thing for us is to, execute our plays. Play fast, play at our level, play, our style of football, and then execute our plays at a higher level.
So what can we expect to see from the Panthers in this matchup against the Badgers, really on both sides of the ball?
I really expect them to try to run the ball. They've kind of mixed it up, but one of the things that they were successful at last week was really running the football, and that's kind of what they stuck to. We expect them to probably try to run the football to kind of drain the clock a little bit. Maybe not to the extent of Harmony Grove, but they've got some really good running backs. They've got a quarterback that's versatile, and they're always athletic. That's one of the things about Ashdown is they're always going to be athletic. They've got some really good secondary players. They've got a couple really good defensive linemen that really big, strong, physical guys that can run also.
Do you see any really favorable matchups when you look at your roster compared to theirs?
I mean, all that goes into the game plan. You know, there are things that we like to attack, and biggest thing is trying to find ways to get our best players the football. And we've got some really good players at Arkadelphia, so we can spread the ball out around a little bit. You know, you can see it from Friday night. There's a lot of people that touch the football. And that's kind of what we try to do. We try to be as balanced as possible.
All right. Well, it's looking like it's shaping up to be a great conference matchup. That's going to be taking place at 7 o'clock Friday night at Ashdown. Go out and support the Badgers if you can. And if you can't, you can always catch the game on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. We will be live streaming the game right there. I want to thank you again, Coach, for joining us this week as always. And that's going to do it, folks, for this week's edition. Be sure to tune in for next week's episode. Until then, go Badgers.
Go Badgers.
Sponsors of Inside Badger Football include Chad Kesterson with Shelter Insurance, Southwest Sporting Goods, Taylor King and Associates, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts, Price and Company, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson and Ebone, Farm Bureau Insurance of Clark County, Turner and Turner, Attorneys at Law, EasyBins.com, Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, the accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler, Welch Funeral Home, Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance, and Southern Bancorp. Inside Badger Football is produced each week by Ouachita Baptist University's Rogers Department of Communication.